Now it's time to wake up. Kincaid and Sal Tunis is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincaid and Andrew Salchunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
All right, well, yesterday was a day of bitching and moaning and complaining. All deservedly so, Johnny, because the Sixers got swept by the New York Knicks.
I make no apologies.
No, not at all. But
not
now
in the least.
We try to figure out what's next, John. And the scary thing is, I don't know how many options they have. But that's the point of having a 4-hour radio show, to try to figure out what the Sixers can do.
Wait, you actually are of the delusion that by the time we close up shop heading into middays with Marks, we will have answers to the future of the Philadelphia 76ers that they haven't been able to figure out.
How about this?
All these years?
I think we can come up with legitimate suggestions. Okay. And I say legitimate, like, I'll trade Joel Embiid for a bag of balls. Like, no, I think we can have legitimate discussions and suggestions.
Okay.
The question is whether or not they listen. And I'm not saying they're listening to the radio show. I'm wondering whether or not they actually think change is necessary, John, because I'm starting to get really scared here. Yesterday was a day where we obviously came on the radio and, you know, it was piss and vinegar, right? We were angry.
Absolutely.
The Sixers,
deservingly so.
Sunday, they showed absolutely no fight. Like, Game 3 was bad, but Sunday was atrocious. It was. We talked about waste of money. We talked about waste of time yesterday morning. Like,
yep.
It was horrible. And so you're starting to wonder, all right, what can they do? They can't bring this back. Like, I feel like we're having the Phillies discussion, but at least the Phillies have gotten to a World Series and an NLCS with this core, whereas the Sixers team have not gotten past the second round. The organization has not gotten past the second round in 25 years. So, of course, national media members get to talking yesterday.
Sure.
And there's articles being written yesterday. We'll speak with Tony Jones, who had the big one about Embiid and a lot of the players.
There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot, and we'll speak with him in the 9 o'clock hour today. But yesterday, Johnny, I see a clip pop up on the timeline from Brian Windhorst on ESPN. And I hate that we're going to do this, but it's basically the first couple of minutes of the show is shooting down a lot of the ideas that a lot of people, I think, want. Here's Brian Windhorst talking about Joel Embiid.
He has 3 years and $192 million left on his contract, which is a new extension, which will begin next season. And that is why I can promise him he will definitely be back. He is not going anywhere. The Sixers do have a couple of free agents, Kelly Oubre, Quentin Grimes, that they have to deal with. But, you know, with him and Paul George locked into enormous salaries, this is going to be a team that's going to mostly have these guys next season.
Do you know what could have happened on Sunday?
What could have happened?
I mean, on Sunday afternoon. It could have been the last game for Joel Embiid.
Yeah, if they didn't do the 3-year
They
extension.
didn't do the stupidity of this extension. Sunday, we could have seen the last game of Joel Embiid, and the Sixers would have had flexibility, Maxey and Edgecombe to build around, and I have a feeling this fan base would feel totally different about this offseason than they do right now.
Oh, absolutely, because
if
like
right
you said,
now,
optionality.
If you had Embiid, if Embiid was gone, this city would feel completely different about, okay, now there's a way out. There's a way out of this mess. There's no way out of the building, dudes. There's no way out. And nobody in the NBA wants Joel Embiid and that contract. Nobody.
Yeah, we read the article from Tim Bontemps yesterday. You know, again, we were trying to not shoot down any optimistic view of the future, but there was the article about basically what Wendy just said. The way Paul George and Joel Embiid are getting paid, the way their contracts are working out, there's really no teams that are going to show interest. Now, maybe Paul George, right? I heard Ramona Shelburne.
And
on
I still
you'll
think
hear
that
from
could
her.
happen.
Yeah.
I do think there's potential there with a West Coast type club for whatever reason.
She was on Middays with Marks yesterday, and she said maybe he played himself into a legit contender out west that says, hey, we believe that we can do something with Paul George. But here's another question. Do the Sixers want to do it? Because
what do you mean? Do they? Would they want to? Of course, they'd want to, right?
Unless they lie to themselves and tell themselves that they're close.
they know they're not close.
So we had Adam Aronson on yesterday, covers the Sixers for the Philly Voice, and this is him. He's not reporting anything, and this is not him giving his opinion. He's basically discussing in this clip what the Sixers organization will have to sit down and come to a realization with.
I mean, this is a team that after Game 4 against Boston looked completely dead in the water, and then puts together, the best 3-game playoff stretch that the Sixers have had in the playoffs in 2 decades, and then follows that up with a complete stinker, getting embarrassed in a 4-game sweep and having its arena taken over by road fans to a degree that I've never seen in any NBA city, let alone this one. And that's sort of what I think is going to be the most challenging part of the offseason ahead for the Sixers, is parsing how much good they can take from those 3 games against Boston and how much they have to take away from the other, I think, 91 games that they played from opening night on. Because, optimists will tell you that stretch against Boston provided a proof of concept for what all of this was supposed to be.
They lost in the second round of the playoffs. They got swept. Like this is the problem that I'm going to have this offseason, John, if everybody does come back, Daryl Morey and Elton Brand and Nick Nurse. And I'm not even saying Nick Nurse is the problem, right? It's just if everybody is back, much like the Phillies brought everybody back, right? The Phillies brought everybody back.
Yeah, they got a good club.
We complained about that.
Good club.
That sounded very Dave Dombrowski-ish, right? I'm not saying Adam is speaking for the Sixers, but man, we did play really well against Boston.
Yeah.
We just ran into the wrong team in the next round. That's how it sounds from Adam Aronson, who covers the team inside and out. So I'm sure he's talked to a lot of people that may have thought, oh, look at what we were able to do against Boston. Now, if we just get marginally better, you got swept. You lost in 4 games, and you got crushed in games 1 and 4. Like, they weren't even close. And game 3, the score was closer, but game 3 wasn't all that close
either.
Game 3
was not close.
Let's face it, they got crushed in 3 out of the 4 games. So when I hear the whole Phillies run it back thing from last year, at least they won a game against the Dodgers. At least they won one of those games.
They blew that series against the Dodgers.
Right. You got destroyed. Like, they got crushed in this series. The Knicks fans took over in Game 4. Like, this is an embarrassing weekend and last week for the Philadelphia Sixers organization that's been filled with embarrassing moments over the years. There's no way they can fool themselves into thinking games 5, 6, and 7 against the Boston Celtics should be enough to bring it all back. Obviously, there's the issues of maybe not being able to trade away some of the players because of the crazy contracts that they have them to. But if they sit down and say, no, look how close we are, they're fooling themselves.
Well, here's the talking point that has to be addressed. Every Sixers fan that will try to say to you that will still keep the lights on in if we just had this happen next year, Embiid comes back and George comes back and everything. Here's the deal. Joel Embiid is there for the taking. If somebody wants him, it's clear they can have him. It's clear they could have him. Nobody wants it. So that should tell you all you need to know. Other teams in the NBA are like, nah, we good. We're good. We don't need Joel Embiid, and we certainly don't need that contract. That's all you need to know. The plan that might be, let's see what we can do about bringing these guys back and doing it again, is a flawed plan. And it's one that they appear to be going with because mainly I don't think it's the plan they want. I think it's the plan they have no choice but to execute.
Well, and that's the scary
because
thing,
nobody wants Joel Embiid. And to all the people who say, look what he's got in the tank and look what he can do. Nobody wants that contract. Nobody wants him. That should tell you all you need to know. If he was a guy who somebody around the NBA thought, man, Embiid could help us get over the hump and win a title, they'd trade for him. That max contract guys are traded for all the time. They would trade for him. They don't. There's a reason.
So we have multiple questions for you. You guys know the number, 610-632-0975. You can text in Davis Honda text line. You can do the voice memo. You can call in, right? And, of course, YouTube will check out the comments all show. I guess I feel like I'm saying this sarcastically, John, but maybe there are people out there. Did the Boston series, games 5, 6, and 7, make an impact to you as a Sixers fan where you think there's still something in the tank with this group? All right, that's one question. Do you have any optimism with this core, mainly because of games 5, 6, and 7? And then how are you feeling if nothing changes at all? And let's talk about nothing. Nothing is not just should they trade Joel Embiid, yes or no. It's Embiid, it's Paul George. We'll play more clips for you as this show continues. Adam Aronson basically made it clear that they're going to do whatever they can to get Oubre and Grimes back. Like it's now we're now bringing back the same role players. And then there's this clip from Ramona Shelburne. I don't know if she's saying this based off of her own personal opinion, John, or
what she's hearing.
Or what she's hearing. Here she is talking about the status of the Sixers front office. And the last couple words in this clip is what's really going to drive you mad because it drove me mad this morning.
My gut says yes. A week ago, we were talking about how they finally got over the hump and beat the Celtics. I thought that was really important. I think beating the Celtics in the way they did, coming back 3-1, I think that showed this team has it. But DJ Edgecombe can get a lot better. Maxey can get a lot better. I think probably some stuff will come out about just what Maxey was playing with that pinky. I think that was pretty rough that he's been playing with. And I also just why would a change necessarily have to happen?
Why would a change necessarily have to happen? Because I'm watching a baseball team in this city that decided not to make any changes for 3 straight years, and I've watched them go backwards for 3 straight years.
And then they keep doubling down on let's just keep with. They keep adding old man contracts to that team, saying it's eventually going to work. It's not.
And then what happens when they make a change? They made the change, moving on from Rob Thompson, and it seems like the whole vibe of the season changed. For now, it's still early on when they played 13 games as with Don Mattingly as the interim manager. But you saw that change could be good. When I hear Ramona Shelburne say change doesn't necessarily have to happen, I'm sorry, Ramona, I love you. I'm here to tell you that change has to happen. Change has to happen with the Sixers organization.
I think she's speaking there from what she's hearing. I believe Ramona speaks much more from over the years following her work. She speaks much more from what she's hearing than what's actually like. I don't think she's just offering her opinion.
Well, then if she's hearing that from the organization,
doesn't that scare the hell out of you?
The organization is fooling themselves,
and it scares the hell out of you.
Look, this is coming from me of all people, John. Like they're not going to win anything with this core. Like they're just not, unless you find the next stud with pick 23 and there's a free agent that you're going, wow, I can't believe they signed with the Sixers. Like a lot of things have to happen. They had no bench, right? Like Quentin Grimes did nothing for you offensively coming off the bench. They had nobody off the bench that was going to uplift this team. The one guy that could have, they traded him to Oklahoma City, and Daryl Morey believes that he sold high on him. That alone should be a stain on his resume.
And he's being mocked across the NBA every night.
Absolutely. And then you just look at the starting lineup, like the inconsistencies of the health. I know you've been, pushing that message for years now. Like
you're building around broken foundation,
and the game changes. And look, I don't know which one's better. I don't know if the Embiid off the court Sixers are better or the Embiid on the court Sixers are better. I know that Joel Embiid is a former MVP and they're pretty good either way. But which is better? You kind of have to pick. You're at a crossroads.
Okay, can we look at the if you just went by the Knicks series?
Their best
and
game
I'm
is
not
game
blaming,
2.
but I'm not blaming Embiid for the entirety of the Knicks series at all. But can you not say that they looked the best game they looked was the game they played without him? It's the game where Maxey played the freest. It's the game where they appeared to be the loosest. It's the game where they played the fastest. And isn't that what you have to do in today's NBA? I watch Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City plays well, they can
do all kinds of stuff.
They can. They're so versatile. but it's such a well-oiled machine too.
That's because they built a great roster. Shea can do everything. They have shooters. Chet Holmgren could do all kinds of stuff.
Correct. They're fast though. The style of play is so engaging and entertaining, and the style of play when you've got Joel Embiid, the style of play is honestly, I don't like watching it. It's not the style of play that it's not the engaging, exciting style of play in the NBA that is packing arenas anymore. It's not.
No, but again, playoff basketball is more half court, and so you start thinking
someone needs to tell Oklahoma City that. Someone needs to tell them that.
I mean, they're
flying all over the place.
They play half court basketball.
They do. They can't. No, they can. Yeah. They don't prefer to play it. They can play it. They don't prefer to play it. They want to push the basketball. And there was eras of basketball where they didn't do that, where it didn't slow down like this and come to an absolute drag. It's a drag.
No, I mean, look.
They got to look, like I can just pray for change and just pray and pray that we're finally going to get it. And hearing Ramona yesterday, and I did hear it, going into the gym, and I was a little depressed.
Yeah, because it almost feels like they are realizing that there's what? Are we just going to make change for the sake of change? Yes.
Yes.
I'm saying the same thing about the Sixers. Just take out the name Phillies and put in Sixers. Yes.
We are going to make change for the sake of change.
Like you need to.
What more data do you need to know that building around Joel Embiid is not going to work?
Yeah, I just don't understand what you guys think a different president of basketball operations or a different GM can do.
A different set of eyeballs?
A different set of eyeballs for what? To make the Embiid contract disappear? Unless it's an Etsy witch. You can just wave the wand and say that doesn't exist anymore.
I watched Daryl Morey make the Al Horford contract disappear.
How about the same thing?
Connor, what I'm going to say to you is this. Could you, under any conceivable way, do you think a different head of basketball operations would not have traded Jared McCain?
We're not doing that. He's already
Wait a minute, we're not doing that. You asked me.
I'm telling you, he's already traded.
Connor, I understand that. What I'm saying to you is the next guy you hire maybe wouldn't be that dumb to make that move. So, yes, a new basketball operations guy, I can take and I can go into it saying, yes, I believe that guy isn't going to do something as dumb as to trade away assets like a young player like Jared McCain.
Yes.
So, yes, a new basketball operations guy, I can sit there and say, I feel better that this guy's going to have a better plan.
You're not hearing me. That is a fireable offense, but it's already done. And
but you asked me, why would I feel confident that a new guy is going to be able to do something? He doesn't have to be an Etsy witch. I could just have more confidence that the new guy is not going to be as bad as the old guy.
Okay, so you sleep easier at night. Embiid's still on the team. Paul George is still probably on the team. You're still going to have injury issues. You're still locked into these contracts. Like, nobody's changing that. I don't care if you bring God himself to be the president of basketball operations.
And I'm going to trust that the decisions that are going to be made by the new guy are going to be better than the decisions that were made by the old guy, who obviously made one of the stupidest moves that the NBA has seen in multiple years, that it's being mocked over and over again by pregame shows, by broadcasts, that people are saying, what are you doing? I will absolutely sleep better saying, I'll trust that the next guy is going to be a better steward of the decisions that he makes. I'll feel better about it. That will absolutely. I don't need an Etsy witch to say I feel better about somebody else making the calls.
Can Elton Brand do it?
With Dave Dombrowski, with somebody else other than Dave Dombrowski, would you sleep better at night if somebody else other than Dave Dombrowski was running the Phillies right now?
I would, even with contracts that you already have the contracts.
Would you?
It would be different ideas.
I would.
I think they're very similar in that they've been locked into a lot of this stuff for a long time.
Let me ask some, Connor. Do you need Quentin Grimes on the Sixers next year?
No.
Daryl Morey seems to really want.
He's obsessed with
Quentin Grimes.
I don't need him not on the Sixers.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to make is, like, Daryl Morey clearly has a thing for certain players. I mean, look, he literally brought back the Rockets a couple years ago, right?
He certainly did.
We had the Philadelphia Rockets. Like, he clearly has a vision, and he's
nostalgic.
Sure, and that vision has not worked, right? And so, what happens in sports when a vision or an idea or a plan is not working? You typically move on to the next person, or you give him a second crack at it. And his second third, fourth cracks at it have not worked. Like, Paul George was a big signing that he made, and it was a major signing that, look, he played really well against Boston. But is anybody saying that the signing for Paul George has been worth it?
Yeah, it's not even about what more he can do. There is no other crack at it. All right? This depends on if you believe Embiid and George can be moved. I firmly do not believe either of those contracts can be moved.
I can believe there is someone who comes in here, much like someone who would come in and run the Phillies. If Dave Dombrowski was shown the door at the end of this year, somebody else who comes in and runs the Phillies is still stuck with the stupid albatross old man contracts that Dave Dombrowski signed. But I absolutely believe, like, let's say it's Preston Mattingly, which I believe it will be. Preston Mattingly's vision for how to get out of the mess, I would trust more than Dave Dombrowski's. The man who made the mess.
Listen,
I absolutely would trust it more.
There is no vision on getting out of these contracts. There's not.
Not necessarily the cut. It's the other moves that have to be made. It's not repeating the same mistakes over and over again.
The other moves are not enough.
Or there is another way
What's that?
to go about it, and I will bring it up coming up next.
You mean there's light at the end of the tunnel?
Well, no, you might not like it. But I'll bring something up.
No. I want ideas, so bring it to the table.
Also, it's not just going to be crush the Sixers day. You know, they deserve it. We got a schedule announcement.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL schedule, all of it comes out Thursday night. And so Friday morning will be W's and L's days.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
That's what you think.
We already have a game to give a win or a loss to for the Eagles.
Nah.
Got announced yesterday. We'll talk about it. It's Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic. Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic. Now back to Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
This hour of Kincaid and Sal Tunis is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
What's going on there?
Sorry, guys.
Come on, Pop-Up.
Sorry, guys.
Connor. Andrew just told me a story off air that he doesn't have to tell who it is, but he answered a text over the weekend from 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's not great.
He left a text unanswered for 4 years.
I'll tell you who's not getting my vote for next president of basketball operations if that position comes open.
Can you imagine the trade deadline with Andrew Salchunas running things?
That would raise the market because I'd be pretending to not answer, and then they go, all right, we'll throw in two first.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I wish somebody happy Mother's Day, and I saw a message she sent me 4 years earlier when Coop came home from the NICU and said, hey, is there anything we can do to help?
That's incredible.
Sounds like someone who's very important to you.
And I said, thank you so much for that message 4 years ago.
That's incredible.
So sorry.
You are Pop-Up. That's unbelievable. That's really great.
I also texted somebody Happy Mother's Day, and the last time I texted her was last Mother's Day.
That's incredible. That's good.
Because I see her enough, I don't need to always text.
We all have those happy birthday people.
It's my buddy's wife, right? It's my best friend's wife. So
exactly.
Texted her Happy Mother's Day, and then 1 year later, I texted her Happy Mother's Day.
Not Mike Vrabel here. I mean,
no.
It's a good explanation.
No,
we got it.
Not.
We got the explanation.
By the way, how about that stage photo that came out? Oh, did I say staged?
It's all right.
You guys see it on Mother's Day?
Yeah, I saw it. I feel terrible, but dude.
Yeah, that was staged. Oh, there just so happened to be a person with a camera outside of their house.
Dude.
All right, let's get to some serious stuff, Johnny. So here's one potential idea for the Sixers that you're not going to like, but you might actually be up for it. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not a process. All right, let me make that
clear.
Thank God.
I'm not saying because I'm not signing on for that nonsense.
A 10-year thing. But, Connor, you're saying, nobody's going to want these guys and blah, blah. What if you make a trade that literally just kills you for a year or two?
What type of trade are you talking about?
You find a guy where it's the last year of a deal or it's an injured player. We talked about Jimmy Butler a little bit yesterday. I don't know if Golden State would go through with that, but
no.
There's guys out there. I'm not saying the Wizards are looking to trade for Paul George or Joel Embiid, but there's Trae Young contracts out there that are just horrific, right? But they're almost done. Now, the Wizards would probably rather just wait out the Trae Young contract and continue to rebuild. But there's going to be teams out there like the Dallas Mavericks have Chris Middleton under contract. Could Dallas say Paul George would be better for us than Chris Middleton to go alongside Cooper Flagg? Now,
Could
they got
be.
a lot of old guys already on that team.
That's a lot of old guys.
But there are teams out there, there are players out there who we look at it so badly because we have two of them, that there's maybe one, and they go, all right, Paul George could actually help out this basketball team, whereas that guy's not going to help us at all. He's just sitting there on the bench, and we're paying him crazy money. So would you sign up for a year or two where you're going to stink? Much like the process, you're going to stink, but you're like giving up picks. That's the other thing. One of the worst parts about this, I saw a clip from NBA Live yesterday.
Which, by the way, is a really good show for those of you who don't watch. It's really, they do a nice job.
They were talking about how if the Sixers were looking to trade Embiid or George, the Sixers would have to add stuff in.
Yes, because the contracts are so terrible.
So it's almost like, all right, are you trading them for the sake of trading them, even though it's going to negatively impact your team for like a year or two? But, of course, it'll open up max slots potentially a year earlier.
Yes.
I'm in for that as well. The number one goal the Sixers should have is shortening the length of contracts on Paul George and Joel Embiid.
So when
I think I'm all for Andrew Salchunas taking a shot at this as long as somebody else ran your phone.
Sure, that's fair. So when you say like Daryl Morey, there's nothing you can do.
I don't trust Daryl Morey to do this, by the way.
Daryl Morey,
I absolutely have no trust.
It's not trust. Daryl Morey might not want to. Daryl Morey might say, no, I have a team that he thought Paul George was going to be a good pick, a good signing, right? Like he thought that. He signed Paul George, so that means he thinks that Paul George will be able to help them win. Paul George, he watched Paul George help them beat the Boston Celtics. So there might be somewhere in his mind where he thinks this can still work.
That's why
you bring in a new body, you bring in a fresh mind. That fresh mind might say, look, if you're guaranteeing me job security for a couple of years, because that's the conversation he would have to have with Josh Harris, if you're guaranteeing me job security, I'll get rid of those contracts. We're going to suck for a year or two. I promise you it won't be as bad as it was the last time with Sam Hinkie and that process that was never going to end. But I might be able to do this for you.
I don't trust, no. I would not trust. And Daryl, I appreciate you, and I always have enjoyed every conversation we've ever had. I would not trust Daryl Morey. None. The trust is broken. Don't trust him, because I don't trust him that his eye wouldn't be taken off the ball to not make stupid mistakes. He made the most stupid mistake this year. I can't trust him not to make another. Nope, not doing it. That's the part of this scenario. I like the scenario you're talking about as long as it's not Daryl Morey the one who is making the decisions. So if you have another option for me as far as that it's not Daryl Morey, I'm all in.
That's the thing, though. Like,
I'm all in.
Who's the other option that is this miracle worker?
It doesn't have to be, again, I'm willing to realize, much like if someone takes over the Phillies this year, Preston Mattingly, at the end of the year, I'm willing to trust that Preston Mattingly, look, every guy who takes over teams tends to take over. They don't tend to take over great teams. They tend to take over where there's a bunch of garbage, where they have to fix stuff. Whoever takes over the Phillies is going to have to take over garbage contracts, and they're going to have to find a way out of that plan and do something with it. It's not going to be as dire as what the Sixers are facing. To me, I absolutely would trust that, say, hey, you got to deal with what you got to deal with, but I'm going to trust I just want a different set of eyeballs and a different plan. I had someone in baseball say to me, they are not looking forward to when Preston Mattingly runs the Phillies. Because they believe Preston Mattingly is a really bright, innovative, different thinker. He's going to be a different guy, and that it's going to be more of a challenge.
You keep leaning on that, though. There is no Preston Mattingly for the Sixers. Right, they don't have that guy right now. You're going to have to go out and find somebody that's on the street.
But we don't know who's on the street, and we don't know. That's not our jobs to know that. That is in the basketball circles. That's the job to know that.
In this conversation, we need to have options. So we're going to have to find
the one name that's constantly going to come up is Bob Myers. I know Ramona Shelburne said yesterday, Middays with Marks.
She doesn't think he wants it, right?
He might not want it.
He might not want it. He hasn't been offered.
By the way,
supposedly.
We don't know what his boss will tell him to do because he works for the Harris Blitzer Group.
Correct.
So, for all we know,
we want you to do this. Take the job or take it in transition and groom somebody
and
to
then
be you.
And then you go back to doing your commander stuff or whatever the hell he does for them. All right, the number to text in, call in, voice memo, 610-632-0975. Are you feeling any optimism with this core? How are you feeling if nothing changes? Because, by the way, a lot of the reporting came out yesterday. It may seem like that there might not be any changes. And would you take a year or two of horrible basketball to move on from some of the contracts?
I absolutely would.
All right. Oh, let me hit this. I forgot I have a drop board.
Oh wait, are you in your turkey coma? Like, are you gonna be in your turkey coma when you hear this?
It's a great question.
I hope you are, by the way. I hope everybody does adjust eating properly.
We have a game on the schedule. Eagles, Cowboys, Dallas, Week 12 on Thanksgiving,
I love
Johnny. 4:30 kickoff. I love the 4:30 slot. That's my favorite of all of them. The 4:30 slot is better than the Lions noon, and it's better than the forced-in 8 o'clock game because they just wanted more money on Thanksgiving. The 4:30 slot is the best slot on Thanksgiving because that's when normally – I don't know why we all eat differently on Thanksgiving.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know. I usually eat dinner at 6 o'clock, but for some reason, Thanksgiving, we're eating at 3. I don't know why we do it.
Well, it's because you're not eating a gigantic meal. If you're going to eat a gigantic meal like Thanksgiving is, you don't want to eat lunch too.
Sure.
So that's why you eat differently on Thanksgiving.
Well, the Eagles will be playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Thursday. We will throw this out there as well at 610-632-0975. Do you like it when the Eagles play on Thanksgiving? We don't get many of these. We know that the Cowboys and Lions are on it every single year. Now they have the 8 o'clock slot, but it's not just Thanksgiving. It could be any of the holiday conversations. The Eagles played on Christmas a couple of years ago.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that one's different. But
I don't
Thanksgiving,
want Christmas.
I love it, man. Like, I'm so excited for them to play on Thanksgiving. It's just, it makes the day feel even better. Like, I love Thanksgiving football regardless.
It makes it seem bigger, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes it seem like a bigger day with the Eagles playing in that game. Plus, you love the national eyeballs on it.
Yeah, that's great.
Which is fun. It's going to be a great time. I love it.
So Week 12 W? What do you think, Connor? You're not going to be here Friday.
It's in Dallas. The sun could be tricky that time of year.
Oh, yeah, man. That's right. The Jerry Sun.
No, it's after the...
I think that's a W.
It's
all
after
right, all right, so we got W's. We're not cowards. John's refusing to answer right now.
It's after that.
I'll figure out a way to get you to do it on
yeah, keep dreaming.
Do you have a line on the game yet?
No, I will be able to get the lines.
I do have.
Eagles minus 27.5.
Cowboys minus 1.5.
Cowboys minus 1.5. So the Eagles are the dogs.
Wow, did I really?
Yeah.
I didn't even. I just guessed.
Eagles are the road dogs.
I would believe they'd be dogs.
Hungry dogs run faster.
Hungry dogs run faster.
And it's Thanksgiving, so you know they're going to be hungry. So the Eagles open up as 1.5-point dogs.
So
Thanksgiving Thursday.
Can't be stupider.
Do you like when the Eagles play on Thanksgiving? Or
yes, isn't it fun?
I think so, but I'm sure there are a lot of people that say, I don't want to have to worry about the game on Thanksgiving when I'm with my family.
Well,
and blah, blah, blah.
The one thing I would say to you is that don't eat during the game.
I don't love it. I got to tell you. I don't love it.
All right, well, then you'll have to expand on this coming up next. I don't know what's not to love. I don't see you as the cook in the Thanksgiving Day feast.
I would hope you're not.
I just see you as the walk guy before the meal. I don't see you as...
I like a good walk.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you're the cook. What do you mean you don't like it? You of all people, he's got no responsibilities, no kid,
seriously,
nothing.
He's sitting there on his backside.
And you're complaining?
You can find out next.
All right. I guess we will. Maybe there's more people like Connor Thomas out there. We'll get Connor's explanation coming up next, and we'll check the Davis Honda text line. We want reaction on this. Do you like when the Eagles play on Thanksgiving? And do you have any optimism moving forward with the Sixers? What would be your logical plan for the Sixers this offseason? And if there's no change, then what are you doing? It's Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Salchunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The Fanatic. If you want to see their wonderful faces, check out youtube.com/975 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincaid and Salchunas coming your way. now.
All right, so we'll check our Davis on the text line. Feel the Davis difference. Check him out in Burlington here in a moment, as well as the poll of the day brought to us by our man, Dr. Avidan Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. But, Connor, you're not alone. Connor, anti-Eagles on Thanksgiving. JM on our YouTube chat. I don't want a game where I have to be vested or have emotional interest. I just like the background noise games. And so that's why I was wondering how many people out there go.
So, like on a holiday, they just want to veg out and.
Yeah.
I get it.
And not worry about, like, look, Christmas Day sucked when the Eagles were playing. That game sucked.
I hated it.
Like, I was miserable watching that game.
It was Giants.
Yes. It was horrific. And it's ruining your day. So, Connor, what's your reasoning?
Yeah, also, there are people who don't necessarily go to one location for Thanksgiving. Like, my family is a big bounce around. I go see my dad. I go see my mom. We go to other family, my sister-in-laws. There's a lot of travel involved during the day of my Thanksgiving.
We do the
I didn't think about that.
every other year. It's either my parents' house or my sister-in-law's house. And because I live close to my sister-in-law, we usually do the stop. Whenever it's my parents' turn to host, we go to my sister-in-law's for, like, appetizers early on. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it complicates a holiday that already has a lot going on with the preparation for it.
Yeah, but here's the deal. You can prepare.
You can make a
I know
plan.
you're not a
you got
planner.
months.
I know,
you got
Connor,
months in advance to
I
plan.
cannot
I know
prepare.
you pack 5 minutes before your flight, but there is a world where you could say, all right, look, I'm going to be at this location by 4:15.
And that's where I'm going to be.
The rest of the night.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to be at mom's early. I'm going to be at dad's by 4:15, and I'm there.
I'm also just not a good person to watch the game with in good company.
I know that.
Much less, like, a lot of family around and stuff like that.
Why do you say that?
Oh, I'm screaming my head off at the
I
TV.
understand,
Yeah, he
but
gets angry.
it's still he's still
The words I say about the Philadelphia Eagles when they're playing football are not welcome at family Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Even in games they
Wait a
win.
minute. There's nobody. So you're saying your taller, more athletic brother is not like he doesn't do that stuff?
Oh, he does.
But
Well,
he's
then-
not an
well,
Eagles.
then-
But he's not an Eagles fan.
Well, I mean, but he would he be rooting against you?
No.
Okay,
No, he wouldn't be
so
rooting
he
against
wouldn't
me.
root against the Eagles. That's the thing is with Connor's in a blended family.
Yes.
Of people who root for other teams.
No, but if
I don't
Hurts
have to
throws a
worry
pick-
about that at any family gathering that I have. I don't have to worry about that garbage.
Like, the kiddos are going to hear words they shouldn't hear if Jalen Hurts throws an interception in Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, your
Birds
nephew
by
won't be
100.
born yet, right?
Yeah, but there's other kids in the family. Like, that's the thing. I'm a psychopath when the Eagles play, and I prefer to have that separate from the rest of my life.
All right, what do we have on the Davis Honda text line? Feel the Davis difference. If you did not see it yesterday, the Eagles will be playing on Thanksgiving, 4:30 kickoff, the best time slot. They play the
It is
Dallas
a great time
Cowboys.
slot.
Do you like when the Eagles play on Thanksgiving or any major holiday, but Thanksgiving being the one that came out yesterday? And then, of course, the Sixers. If nothing changes, your reaction, if they do indeed run it back, like there's a lot of reporters that are making it seem like they kind of just have to out of necessity.
Which is, by the way, crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
They do not have to.
I agree. And are you somebody that has found optimism from that Boston series? Because they might talk themselves into that. What do we got?
The poll's going to be really interesting, so you're going to want to hear this in just a minute. But our first texter checks in. No name on this one. They say the pivot to the new way the NBA is playing should have been done after Harden, but you doubled down on the Big Three concept, and with how the CBA is, that concept no longer is a viable team-building method, but you're stuck. So run it back in some fashion. Trade who you can when you can. Stay at 22 and make the pick. Maury's been pretty good at that.
It's amazing. I was listening to Middays with Marks yesterday, and they said something that, I've said.
You mean about the Harden thing?
They miss James Harden.
I heard that they don't miss James Harden.
They don't have a point guard. The Sixers
But
do not have a point guard.
That is the truth. They didn't say they missed James Harden, but they go, should they have traded James Harden? Like,
And-
should they have let James Harden walk?
Look, I know his shortcomings. Trust me. I've been watching his entire career. I know his shortcomings. But
you know the ending of the James Harden movie when it's clutch.
But who knows about this version of Tyrese Maxey, right? Like when Harden was here, Harden still had to be 2, right? Embiid was 1, Harden was 2. Imagine if it was this version of Maxey, where Maxey can just do everything off ball and you actually have a point guard. I'm not saying they should do whatever they can to get James Harden back because he's not going to play here. He said that in what was it, in China?
Yes.
I'm never playing
China.
for a team led by Daryl Morey ever again. But one of their things that they have to do this offseason is find a real freaking point guard to play with this team.
They do.
A real point guard. You might have to run small because you're going to have Maxey and Edgecombe in the starting five.
And they need to find a guy, though, who's committed. They need to find a guy who's not committed to heading to Vegas because he won a first-round series.
Or a guy that's not 40.
Yeah, I'll take it, dude. If there's a 25-year-old point guard that could play, go to Vegas whenever, as long as you're on the court.
Like, you don't need Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon. Like, oh, my God.
It's so funny is, though, Connor, you say that. It's like, but you don't see these guys in any other of the cities.
What do you mean?
Who are the other guys that are going to Vegas in the middle of rounds that are the 25-year-old guys?
Well, they're not top 27.5.
You don't see it. James Harden is all about James Harden, and you don't need those guys.
I'm not just talking about James Harden. I'm just saying I just need a dude who can handle the basketball and dish it.
Let's get Ish Smith, the dish from Ish.
I'm going to go with no.
All right, what's the poll? Brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. You know, it's amazing. I listen to Unfiltered, and every hour Bill goes, is it still up? I don't even have to ask that question.
No, we know it's up.
Our question today, do you believe change for change's sake can make a difference for the Sixers? 56% of our responders saying yes, 44% saying no.
Wow.
So there's a good contingent that believes it won't change.
Yeah, because they realize the roster.
And they're just going to hold. They're just going to say, well, stay the course. That's crazy to me.
I don't think they're happy about staying the course. I think to what Connor was saying earlier
is stay the course then.
Right, but you're not.
You're gonna keep doubling down.
You don't have a choice, John.
You do, but you do have a choice.
I'm telling you right now.
You do have a choice of doubling down on letting Daryl Morey continue to make the calls. You do have a choice. And you can't let it happen again. We just saw it. You can't let it happen. It's crazy town. It's like we're living in a crazy place. We cannot let it happen again.
All right, coming up next, more Sixers talk about what's next. The problem is there may not be a next. We have more audio from the reporters that were on yesterday. Ramona Shelburne, Adam Aronson, about what the Sixers could do this offseason, if anything at all. Also, a part of this Thanksgiving discussion that we have not touched yet, John, that I think we may have an issue on our hands for some of you out there.
Okay.
Kincaid and Saltunis, 97.5 The Fanatic.